Peace, 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 family. I hope y'all doing well in the life. Hopefully this fog ain't getting to y'all the way it got to me. It's like spun the block. Wasn't feeling good. I got better. And then it spun the block and tried to take me out again. But we back and better. Better and back. We BB. Back and better. Back to the future. Peace, family. How we doing in life? Look at that. Back and we better. Uh-huh. Yes, indeed. Make sure y'all drop the name of the city, state, country, whatever you feel comfortable with as you chime into the chat. Zio Zoom. What up, Q? Peace, family. It's a unique name. Quiet Thoughts. What up, family? How we living? How we living? Quiet Thoughts in the building. Louisiana. All right. Shouts out to Louisiana. North Carolina. Pink Chanel. North Carolina. Peace, family. Arkansas. All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Man, I heard there was like a whole crash UFO. Oh, that's cool. I like how you did that. That fog. That fear of God was on your ass. That fog. Interesting. Interesting. Herbalist Mommy 09. Finally caught alive. What's good? Q from Tampa. Shouts out to Tampa. And I'm proud that we were in sync so we could be in this live or life together. Just more proof of quantum entanglement. More proof of entanglement without the Will Smith and August bro vibes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Maryland in the building. El Paso in the building. All right. So I definitely want to get into this video. Yeah, El Paso. I'm telling you, it's wild. It's wild. I was listening to a compilation of news clips and listening to some of the different reports. And one of them said that they recorded it, but the recording went out. Another one said that they looked in the direction where the debris fell, and they said that it was like glitching. Not glitching. It was like something was stopping you from, it was distorted. That's the word they used. It was distorted. So I'm like, bro, is they using Project Bluebeam to like distort? You get what I'm saying? Stuff they don't want people to see. See, when you think of Project Bluebeam, most people instantly think just UFOs. Like, oh, these dudes about to project flying UFOs flying around. Or you're thinking they about to project a second coming. Yeah, that's cool and everything. But imagine what they can hide in plain sight with Project Bluebeam. You think you got a whole pile of cars in front of you type shit, and it ain't that. Now, there's a sign, maybe, there's something. They're going to be smart about it. But even when real things like that happen, yeah, it's crazy. But that El Paso stuff, look into it. But today's video is not about the UFO crashes in El Paso, the 8 to 10 feet beings that they saw on the phone call, talking about they seeing 8 to 10 foot beings. You think oh, this is not happening purposely and on cue? This most definitely happening purposely and on cue. But it's all because of Yah. All right? This is all because of Yah. Now, I really wanted to talk about a different topic for today's live, but I didn't think it was appropriate. But it was associated to taxes, God, how they're trying to eliminate taxes, and at the same time they're introducing a new God, and how taxes and God is associated to each other, and how you soon won't be paying taxes, and soon you will be, let's just say, offering or donating to a new God. And this new God is an AI. This is why this AI is taking your jobs. This is why this AI is about to put you on universal basic income before it becomes universal high income. Basically, this AI is essentially going to kind of become your new government, and you won't be taxed, you will be paid. But that's a different video, all right? It's a whole different video. So I'm here to kind of talk to y'all about the subconscious and how important it is for you to understand the subconscious. The reason why I speak on the subconscious is because I do something called subconscious regression therapy. Subconscious regression therapy is a practice where you use a set of mental cues, mental commands. For example, imagine a red ball. Imagine the last thing you ate. You do mental cues to get the mind to start to awaken that part of itself. It normally only uses when it's dreaming or on, I guess, the exiting of death. Your body naturally releases certain secretions, I'll say. DMT is a natural secretion the lungs can produce, amongst other parts of the body as well. But these secretions happen when you dream, and these secretions happen upon death. And in these secretions, there are certain things that are activated. But anyway, the subconscious is a very interesting situation. I'll tell you why. Consciously, you use maybe 9 to 11% of your brain. The rest of it is subconscious. It's an infusion of sub and unconscious, but the unconscious is something that actually is outside of the body. Well, if you want to conceptualize your brain, then your brain is a system that is composed of conscious and unconscious systems. Your brain is being used to support conscious actions and support unconscious actions. For example, you breathe. You do not tell yourself to breathe, but your brain is sending the signal down to your body to breathe. This is an unconscious action. So there are unconscious actions that are happening within the brain, and there are conscious actions that are happening within the brain. What I discovered is that these unconscious, which are not necessarily unconscious, more subconscious actions, are affecting our everyday life. They're affecting our everyday life more than our conscious reality is affecting our everyday life, because our conscious reality is very robotic. It is very routine. It doesn't have the same creativity the subconscious does. So I'm here on this live today to kind of talk to some of y'all who may not know the importance of the subconscious. If you're new to this channel, if you never really looked into this information, hopefully you learned something from this. Those of you who support this channel, those of you who are a part of this channel and have listened to this type of concepts, you may learn something or hear something said in a different way. All right. So one thing I want as many people to conceptualize as possible is that I believe that what we identify as the soul is not a singular construct. It's not a singular concept. It's not a one and done thing. It's not a one situation. Now, I believe that the soul is an infusion of multiple forms of consciousness. These forms of consciousness I like to identify as identities. I believe the soul is a combination of multiple identities. These multiple identities are you. But there's one identity you identify with more than the others. But that doesn't mean they're not there. That doesn't mean they don't exist. So say my first name is Quentin, last name Reeves. That's my main identity. But there are other identities associated to my soul. Now, who or what these identities are, we'll get into that. Hopefully you are enjoying this type of conversation. Double tap that screen and hit that like button, and we can continue this type of conversation. But who and what these identities are, we'll get there. But first and foremost, let's just pause and see if there's anything that we might have experienced collectively to show evidence of that statement. to show proof of that statement. Okay. So CueReaves, that is who I identify with. And I'll give you some of my attributes or what I consider the makeup of my identity. One, I'm not a very angry person. I've never been one to express anger. There's some people I've been around and seen are extreme angry people and express anger. So I don't, based on what I observe, consider myself an angry person. But there is something we call road rage. And there are subconscious situations, meaning you're not really consciously thinking about them, but they're still playing in the background. So the subconscious situation is we all have a certain amount of time in life. And if you cut me off, you just took away from time in my life. If you're if you're moving slow, you're taking away from time in my life. So in essence, you're looking at this person as someone that's producing a level of death upon you. That's how serious road rage is. That's how angry we can become from road rage. Now, the reason that affects certain people more than others is because certain people have experienced in their life times that they have experienced micro deaths, situations that make them feel like someone is taking advantage of them, taking their time away, etc., etc., etc. So those people are even more triggered because they're feeding that id identity. They're feeding that road rage you. So that's just one example I could say I see in the life. When people I know identify as cool, calm, and collect, they get behind that wheel and they act like, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. No, I'm just saying. They act a little angry. More angry than I would have considered. And I mean, I've seen this with pastors. I have an uncle. He is a pastor. I've seen him establish certain levels of road rage, and I thought that was completely out of his character. And I went to Catholic school, and I went to a Catholic school with all nuns. So nuns would drive the buses. Nuns did everything. So I've been in vehicles with nuns and even seen nuns kind of step out of character when it comes to this thing called road rage. All right, so that's just like one identity that we can say is a part of us. All right, that's one identity. The road rage you. All right. Another identity that tends to show itself is the version of you when you drink. You ever wonder where that version of you comes from? Why you act this way when this substance is introduced into your body? It's not like you just magically become someone new. This is a part of you that you have always been. This is a part of you that has been kind of hidden. It only shows itself or presents itself if certain conditions are met. And in this case, those conditions is alcohol. So, that's just two examples that I given. Road rage and alcohol. We have seen in our own life that people have act different when they're behind the wheel, during rush hours sometimes, and when they drink substances or when they take, let's just say, hallucinogenic substances or things that can alter their mental state. It creates or produces another identity, someone you weren't familiar with. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is because your elites, the people that you look to for power or people that you look to for entertainment, they are what we call dualists. A dualist is something that literally feeds two versions of themselves. There's a version of themselves they show you during the daytime, and then there's a version of themselves that's at night. I kid you not. The only reason I even got into spirituality is because of my sister. She was at Spelman, and she used to call me, and she'd be like, bro, you'll never believe what I just experienced. And I was like, what? What happened? She was like, bro, I went to a club. She says, and Jamie Foxx, allegedly, and Will Smith, allegedly, walked in with a dress on, bro. I said, what kind of club you was working at? She was like, I mean, it's a bisexual club, but I would never think that they would be in this type of club. Now, I was probably in like 7th grade, and I'm just like, damn, why the hell is Jamie Foxx and Will Smith dressing up like women going in clubs? But then that brought down the whole rabbit hole of how many black men had to wear dresses. And then to introduce something within a person's psyche, I want you to understand it's like Pandora's box. It's like when you introduce something within a person's psyche, the psyche is still going to reach for it if it doesn't understand it. So you have these rich reptilians, you have these rich Hollywood people that's like, oh yeah, put the dress on, it's gonna be great, put the dress on. Boom, they put the dress on. They take the dress off, they get paid. But now, their subconscious, now a part of them is still pondering and trying to figure out why I had to wear the dress in the first place. Now, that creates an inquisitiveness. That creates a curiosity. Curiosity kills the cat. That curiosity is why they end up in them clubs with a fucking dress on in the first place. So I just want you to understand the psychology behind what's going on. They get, and they know this. These elitists know this form of mind control. It's a form of mind control. Controlling the subconscious is essential. This is why they're about to have all y'all at home getting universal basic income on a metaverse or in somebody's alternate something. I mean, what do you think social media is? Instagram is an alternate something. Facebook is an alternate something. TikTok is an alternate something. So I'm not saying anything far-fetched, but they're going to get you to stay home and feed this alternate system. All right, let's keep going. So, I believe that the soul is an infusion of multiple identities. These identities have a voice, have a say in your existence. They are expressing themselves in what you eat, in who you choose to be with in a relationship, in what you wear, in how you look, the piercings that you get, the tattoos that you get. Have you ever slowed down and stopped and thought about why you are doing what you're doing? Why did I choose to get this specific tattoo? Where did that come from? We don't do that. We're very lazy as a people, unfortunately. But if we get better at really paying attention of how we got here, what got us here, that's when we step into the magic. But needless to say, these other ids or other identities of you, they want you to explore. There was a time they did not want these other ids or identities to show themselves. So the goal was to keep you working as much as possible. Work, so that you do not identify, you do not even have the time to identify the complexity of you. But the moment you no longer have to work, and whether you are choosing this system or not, they're firing or laying off tons of workers. So it's hard for people to work, even if they want to work. So then they have nothing but themselves to deal with. And when you're dealing with yourself, you're dealing with the complexity of yourself. And the complexity of yourself is a multitude of things. All right, so let's keep going. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I know this is a complex conversation. Hopefully those of you who understand. Those of you who get it. They've been demonetized my channel. So some, I must be saying some. All right, let's keep going. When a person books a regression with me, I ask them, do you know what regression is? They often say, yeah, it's a way for you to travel your past and for you to be able to kind of be present into your past and for you to get more clarity how your past is affecting your present. I said, spot on, for sure. It's definitely what past life regression does. I said, but regression itself, I said it doesn't specify as much as what you just said. I said regression, the word regress means to go back into. And we're going back into your subconscious. So then the next question is, okay, what's stored in my subconscious? Well, this is what's stored in your subconscious. If you followed a couple of my last videos, I've been using the verbiage called EQ. EQ stands for emotional quadrant. Emotional quadrant is a measurement for emotional intelligence. All right? So you have people who have high emotional intelligence, and you have people who have low emotional intelligence. People with high emotional intelligence kind of develop empathy, kind of are more loving and caring and unified individuals. People with low emotional IQ tend to be selfish. All right? So people with high emotional IQ, they tend to be the minority. And people with low emotional IQ tend to be the majority at the moment. All right? Now, in your subconscious, you are storing away events that have happened in your life and in past lives that have had emotional impacts on you. This is also how you develop emotional EQ or emotional intelligence. You have to go through things. So you do have a race or a species on this planet that technically will be considered a newer species, and they may not have gone through as many emotional trials and errors as other species. So when you know this, then you don't judge as much. You just understand this is a maturity thing. But maturity is getting weird nowadays, because you can't tell who's the elders and who's the youth. It's just a weird blur. Everyone kind of look the same. Sorry, yeah, I'm still kind of getting over a little, and I'm feeling a little wonky, but I'm pushing through. All right. So, in your subconscious, you are storing emotional experiences. These emotional experiences, let's just say, things that you're proud of and things that you're guilty of. That's the easiest way of thinking how you store things. So when I regress people and they go into their past lives, what they tend to go to is the things that they're proud of, their families, their accomplishments, sometimes their wealth, sometimes their previous jobs. They go to what they're proud of, and they go to what they're guilty about. The body keeps score of facts. Great point. Now, what defines where you go in your regression? It's your emotional state in the moment. So some people in the moment are extremely guilty right now. Who knows why you're guilty? Maybe you stole something yesterday. Maybe you yelled at your kids earlier this morning. I mean, it doesn't have to be an extreme, but you may be guilty in the moment. And if you were to get a regression right now and your past was to present itself, the guilt of you may show itself, because that's what it's paying attention to. But if you are proud of yourself, then that which makes you proud may show itself from the past. So, I call these emotional experiences emotional environments. EE. We store something known as EE. In the EQ comes the EE, emotional environments. And these emotional environments weigh very heavy on our emotional body. Our emotional body is literally composed of these emotional environments. See, when people think of bodies and you know, you see like the weird formation, like they show you in a context, like here's your emotional body, here's your etherical body, here's your plasma body, here's your earth body, and they make them all look like bodies. No, not at all. Not at all. It is greater than just a shell. And those that are shell-minded are going to create it in a very adolescent formation. When the reality is your emotional environment more looks like an advent calendar. All right? So you know, you lift it up and there's like a scene, there's like a passage. That's what your subconscious is doing right now. It has a calendar of all these different emotional experiences. And every day you go through something, it opens up that door so that they can kind of synchronize. Now, why this happens, I could actually talk about a regression I did today where his great-grandfather came through and explained to him I don't even want to throw his business out there, but the reason why he was dealing with questionable relationships and even question his sexuality was based on questionable thoughts that started with his grandfather. See, I had to explain to him, in order for that to even exist right now, it has to come from one of these two environments. There's external environments and internal environments. And when we're talking about internal environment, we're talking about the thoughts, fruitions, and actions of our ancestors. And how whatever the fuck they was thinking, praying, wishing, desiring, and acting on, we have direct reflection or direct connection to these things. So if great granddad was thinking about homosexuality, those thoughts, and didn't resolve that, didn't come to some type of consensus or conclusion, you're passing that shit on to the next generation. And sometimes it skips a generation. So it may not even hit the dad. It's going to hit the grandson. So after trying to explain the importance of understanding, dude, some of this stuff is genetics. This is shit they ain't deal with. And now they push this shit on us. I said, but then you also have the external environment. And whether you are aware of it or not, in the 1970s, allegedly, an organization started springing up that kind of wanted to Planned Parenthood. And they introduced something known as birth control. And this birth control produces an extreme amount of estrogen that gets released in the urine of these women who are on said birth control. They then are releasing this highly enriched urine into the subsystems of cities, and they don't have a filtration system for this. So they can't filtrate out this estrogen. And they say, well, it's going to be a good thing because we need to feminize the indigenous people on this planet. For one, to disconnect them from their ancestors, and to two, to make them less willing to fight, and for three, to give them less body mass. All these things happen through the introduction of estrogen, especially to males. And then not only are we going to do that, we're then going to put a lot of soy-based food or MSG-based food on every corner to China man. So we really mess up their sperm count and give them estrogen in their food. And then at the same time, we're going to put testosterone in some of the fast food establishments that we know that more women go to than men. Women have more money in the melanated household family, just to be realistic. Women have more money, more credit, they have cars, they have transportation. They're able to get to some of these situations where your average melanated man in the hood is eating the food at the local corner shop. Whatever they make. They don't go to your McDonald's. They're not even getting there. This was an attack on women. And this is why the women started beefing up. This is why the children started beefing up. Because they were putting these different hormones, allegedly. Sorry, I went on a little tangent, yeah. But, I just wanted him to understand that it's bigger than just his thoughts. You have a whole external environment that's trying to make you a homosexual man every chance it gets. And we can definitely give a big thank you to the Wayans brothers for pushing that agenda every chance it can. I said it because it's really all of them. Low Down Dirty Shame, the roommate was a homosexual. Marlon Wayans, every movie. In Living Color, they were doing the homosexual stuff. Now, if you understand what Ann is, or Inanna, she's the goddess of the underworld, or the goddess of the dark. Sometimes they think they're doing this to appease this dark goddess. Sometimes they call her the Black Madonna. And sometimes these elitists are doing ritualistic actions to appease something that won't talk to them. Which really is cognitive dissonance, because they sit here and they're trying to do something. Yes, Inanna is Ishtar. They sit here and they try to do something constantly, religiously, to something that seeks to acknowledge them. Want me to show you the proof? I'll give you the proof right now. Why God or these entities don't acknowledge them. If these entities acknowledge them, they wouldn't have created an AI. What would they need an AI for? These gods are telling them what they need to know. Gods, angels, Sabbathels, Michaels, or Uriels. I mean, make it make sense. If they were really getting their answers, if they really was getting responses, what the fuck they create an AI for? Don't say to control us. They already control us. Don't you pay taxes? Don't hit me with it's a control thing. They already got that. If they gods was talking to them, if all these rituals was working, why create an AI? Why create a God? Why create a God if you're talking to God? Make it make sense. $ CueReaves if you're feeling generous. They have demonetized my channel, so anything could help. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for the give and receive. Thank you, family. ZY, thank you so much. Joshua, thank you so much. Carl Scott, thank you so much. Alexis, thank you so much. Epstein was trying so hard to connect with Baal. So hard. Do you know Baal, Yardabal is who we're talking about? And it's the son or the child of Sophia. And you do know they really be trying to get Sophia's attention. This is what it really is about. And what's funny is Sophia don't fuck with Baal. So in order to get the attention of Sophia, She used to say to the men, off with your balls. Get it? In order for you to even enter, this is what androgyny comes in. Because if you can't produce testosterone no more, you cut your balls off, can't produce testosterone no more, then both men and women produce estrogen and testosterone. But you're now sending a different signal to your body. You're throwing your on an energetic level, you're creating something new. And Sophia is all about transformation. All about transformation. But you can't force her to acknowledge you. Now, I also consider Sophia to be like an aspect of Lilith, and you can't force Lilith to acknowledge you. I don't think that's how it works. And if she does acknowledge you, it's because she's most likely trying to manipulate or use you in some type of way that benefits her. Now, when I talk about these archetypes, I want you to understand that I believe that these archetypes have something that is essential in the world. That's what gives them godlike abilities. And what we refer to as Lilith, I actually think is the literal concept of light itself. Light. The thing we refer to as light, I think is connected to this thing we refer to as Sophia or Lilith. Tiamat breathed the life of Sophia. The fire, the flame, the lightning bolt, the Zeus bolt. That's a fire, that's a flame. But the light is a lie. Because the light is produced by sound. So, they go so hard for the light, but never really pay attention to the sound. Put it like this. You're not worried about thunder. You're worried about lightning. You understand? Lightning can damage you. Not thunder. But thunder is what's needed for lightning to be produced. That's why it's important for you to understand the power of your thunder, the power of your sound, the power of your vibration. Unfortunately, a lot of people have been taught to silence themselves. When I've done all I can to try to tell people to express yourselves out loud. You have to say it out loud. The universe don't know what the fuck you thinking. Why would it care about what you thinking? The moon care about what you thinking. The cosmos care about your thoughts. The universe don't give a fuck about your thoughts. The universe cares about your actions, and saying something is an action. Every second, the universe is expanding. Every second, it's expanding. Do you think it wants to hear any other conversation outside of expansion? Do you not understand what it takes to talk? Slow down and pay attention to yourself. When you talk, you expand your stomach. Literally talking is an act of expansion. Literally just talking. But then when you realize, damn, my sound is powerful. What I say is powerful. I need to then acknowledge what I'm saying. Fuck what I'm saying to the universe at first. No, real shit. And the universe is not going to be offended. It don't care about that. What are you saying to yourself and about yourself? How are you talking to yourself? How are others talking about you? It counts. So, when you start to explore your subconscious, You tap into past dreams, but then science just says that dreams are alternate realities. That's what science just dropped. Science just said, did you know that dreams are alternate realities? Crazy, right? I've been said that though. So your subconscious stores alternate realities. Let me ask you a question. Could you see any way having access to an alternate reality could benefit you? Come on, get engaged. Get engaged, yeah. And those of y'all who are part of the class, I'm almost there. Remember, they hacked my shit. I'm still trying to get all the stuff together. I was able to get my YouTube back, but they still was messing with my email. I didn't get them to fix the email until 24 hours. So I'm like, what is going on with my email? So anyway, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Almost there. All right. Your altar is reality. Absolutely. No, but give me an example. Give me an example. Give me an example of how, if you can access another timeline of you, how could that benefit you? Yes, you get a different perspective. Okay. All right. I like that. I like that answer. Give me more. Give me more. Where does the light in dreams come from? From the pieces of you left behind. To bring back any knowledge or abilities that could be useful in this life. Tara, thank you. Ding, ding, ding on the motherfucking ding. Okay, here we go. So, the body cannot decipher the difference between a dream and reality. That's why if you're dreaming and you say, go to the bathroom, you probably went to the bathroom on yourself. If you dream of falling, you may actually fall out of your bed. If you dream of being unalived, you may potentially wake up to a new timeline. See, they don't tell you that. They tell you you get unalived in real life. Energy isn't created nor destroyed, transferred or transformed. So meaning, if you were to transition in your dreams, you may literally wake up to a new reality. And the reality could look very similar to yours, but there's going to be differences. Now, if I then tell you that, it's like, wait, hold on. Well, I don't remember all my dreams. I know you don't. So it's possible that I could have got unalived in my dream? Yeah. And woke up to a new reality? For sure. Things make you go, Right, Ali G? I've been seen on Ali G. I just noticed I look like Ali G. Y'all are hilarious. Y'all are hilarious. I've been saw the comments, but it really, I had to slow down to pause and connect that one because that was funny as hell. If y'all don't know who Ali G is, I'm going to show you. It's hilarious. 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 Y'all funny people, bro. Y'all funny people, bro. I love y'all. Alright. Sometimes you gotta be able to laugh with yourself. I don't know about at yourself, but I'm gonna laugh with myself because some made me wear this shit today. I'm just trying to go to the gym. I'm going to the gym, family. This is my gym clothes. Oh, that's hilarious. Hilarious. You never know what you get on live, man. Never know what you get on live. Me and my sister love your live. Can you shout out her name? Is Candace. Shouts out to Kansas. If you really are part of the movement or not. Hey, you know. Alright, so because the body cannot decipher the difference between a dream and reality, if your subconscious is tapping into an alternate timeline. I'll give you an example. Have you ever heard of a basketball player known as Tony Allen? Have you ever heard of a basketball player known as Tony Allen? He was a basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know how many of y'all in here follow basketball or not, but Tony Allen. All right, Sunflower heard of him. All right, that's enough so I can tell you the story. All right. There was a timeline in my life where I really thought I was going to play like professional basketball, because I really was that good at basketball. But I thought I was that good at basketball, but I never really had the proper support. And then I went to high school, and the high school I went to was a performing arts high school, so I couldn't play basketball in high school. And then at 18, I started raising kids, so I never really had my hoop dreams. All right? But every so often, I played basketball. But there was like a time when I was younger, I really saw me being able to be a really good basketball player. So now I'm older. I have a gym membership at a pretty nice gym. And a lot of the ex-Grizzly players come into the gym. One of them was Tony Allen. So I play basketball with Tony Allen. And I kid you not, something was said or something, and his response was, yeah, because you're the only one up here that could really play. I don't even know what the conversation was. But then I'm sitting here processing in my brain, did I just get an NBA player that just said that I'm good? I've never did this professionally. It just was a thought. But then I'm thinking, and I am good. I'm really good at basketball. I'm 40 years old and I play everybody at the gym. But it made me think it's possible that in my subconscious, there's a stream where I do play a professional ball. I probably play professional ball for a certain amount of time. And if I can synchronize myself with that version of me, maybe we can share these skills. So for example, I dedicated 20 years of my life establishing the ability to converse. I'm a great conversationalist. I am exceptional at conversating and helping other people converse with themselves. So then I'm understanding, damn, that's a skill that I developed. What if I was to share this skill with the other versions of myself? What if they were to share some of their skills with me? Damn, is that then how it's possible where you have people out here who are just really good at a lot of stuff? They're just really talented at a lot of things because we're willing to transfer information. But the only way you're going to transfer information is first acknowledgement. It's a dial-up. You have to know where you're transferring the information to. If you don't know the source, you can't send the information there. And if they don't know you as a source, they can't send it to you. So you first got to get in sync with your quantum self. You have to get dialed in with the multi-you, not just the singular you. This is why you have to learn the other ids, the other identities associated with you. It's a deep thing. It's a deep thing. I might have to come back up here and do another live about it because I do got to get going, family. But this is why I'm telling you this. If you want to start activating this version of you without regression therapy, because this is always an option, all you have to do is book a regression. But if that's not something, that's the accelerated version. That's tapping into it right away. Full dump. All right? But if you're not capable of getting into the regression realm yet, this is another program for you. You have to get 2 mirrors Actually, 3 mirrors. Technically, 4 mirrors is really what you want. All right? You want a mirror in front of you. You want a mirror on the sides of you, and you want a mirror in back of you to create that ripple effect. You know, the multiverse look. You've seen it before. You need to recreate this environment. When you recreate this environment, you need to out loud speak as if you are talking to the different versions of yourself. This is going to help you start programming that possibility within yourself. This is the belief that you're going to need. This is going to be the action of belief. Altars are just there as actions of belief, but don't get lost of just producing altars, candles, and all that stuff. Get deeper, get more creative. These mirrors is going to create the action that you are now ready to synchronize with the multi-versions of yourself. Let me know how it go, family. Reach out directly. You can drop it in the comments if you want to let me know how it is. You can send me an email. Whatever's easier, whatever's there, I'm there. Till next time. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Ali G out.